Okay, here we go. So, hello everyone. Again, my name is Peter Van Twyver. I'm your host, and thank you for joining me on this 5-day journey entitled Empowering the Healer Within. I will do my best to keep the session to 30 minutes. I do like to talk, but this session is chock full of useful info and techniques. So if we do go over 30 minutes, it's okay if you need to scoot. You just leave whenever you need to, or if you want, you can stay after for questions and comments. Please hold any questions and comments until the end so we can try to make it through. You can always post a question or comment in the chat, and we can get to it when we can. And that your questions and comments are, as always, invited and welcome. The recording of this mini workshop will be posted, as I mentioned prior to recording. This will be posted in our private Facebook group, Empowering the Healer Community, later tonight. And you may want a notebook and a pen handy to journal your experiences, to review them later, and to avoid forgetting them. So as we go through the meditation, there may be things you want to write down, or after the meditation, you want to write down your experiences, because if you're like me, I'll forget them within seconds after I experience them. So I always like to have something to write down my experiences and ground them and keep them forever. So let's get right into our topic. Our first topic of the series: why do I feel stuck? Why am I feeling stuck? So how many people in the audience, how many people on this call have felt stuck at some point in their life? So drop a Y or a yes in the chat if you have. Okay. Oh, yes. Yes, I see a lot of yeses. That's great. So me too. And how many have felt stuck recently? So there's, if you've been on YouTube, one of my guys that I just recently get into is Tom Wild. Last name is Wild. He's been talking a lot about the intensity of the symptoms that we're feeling. There's a lot of uncomfortable feelings and like headaches and dizziness and whatnot. We'll get into that in a little bit, but he's been talking about that. I've been following him. He's had some really excellent videos on the topic of shifts and changes. But before we get into talking about that, I just want to make sure we create a foundation for our discussion so that everyone is on the same page. So we need to define terms like energy, vibration, and shift. So what is energy? Norm Shealy, the guy that wrote Energy Medicine, he's a giant in the industry. He's a MD, PhD. He wrote the book Energy Medicine. Energy is everything, and everything is energy is one of his famous quotes. And another famous quote of his is, everything affects everything. So very quantum physics-ish. So knowledge and mastery of energy is what we're basically looking for here to get over feeling stuck. So I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Secret, and Bob Proctor's one of the speakers, and he says, take a look at your hand. And if you look at your hand, it looks solid. And he describes how the solidity of the hand is sort of an illusion. We're really just a bunch of molecules running around, and that molecule's moving and fluxing and changing, although we can't see it, is basically energy. Everything is energy, and energy is everything. So I love that quote from Norm Shealy. So the term vibration is used to qualify or quantify the term energy. So in his book, Power versus Force, Dr. David Hawkins describes emotions and feelings in terms of vibration, where love, joy, and bliss are high vibration emotions, and shame and guilt are low vibration emotions. Now, this isn't necessarily stuff you don't already know, but I just want to make sure everyone is on the same page. So the term shift refers to a sudden or profound change in vibration. Shifts in vibration can occur over a prolonged period of time or can occur more quickly. It seems that we've had a number of shifts recently, most especially since 2012, maybe earlier. We had the 444 last year. We had planets in alignment, planets in conjunction. I'm not really well versed in astrology, but the astrology people have a lot to say about shifts, and they know what's going on. So we pay attention to those things. We'll talk about that in just a second. Another relevant term for vibration shift is ascension. And the term ascension suggests that every shift, energy shifts are a process that we're all going through. So we're all kind of proceeding along a path that we've chosen, and it results in a change in our physicality, our emotions, our bodies, our essences, our auras, our energy. So why do shifts occur? Like I just said, we have our own personal changes. We have health changes, relationship changes, stress, and I just mentioned the astrological changes. There are planets that are moving into alignment with other planets or celestial bodies. The sun and the moon come into alignment with the earth. Those are called just having a brain fart. When the anyway, moving on. Retrogrades, changes in the Earth's magnetic pole. I don't know if you've looked at a compass. I think it was Tom Weil, or maybe somebody like him, that mentioned that your compass is actually acting differently. It doesn't quite point like it used to. So the magnetic poles, or the magnetic field of the Earth in general, is shifting as well as changing. So a shift refers to a change. We all feel it. Of course, there's collective consciousness. We feel each other's changes. We feel each other's energy. We have that. That's our birthright. We feel that, whether or not we realize it. So the collective consciousness can be affected by disasters, celebrations, fear. The current pandemic is a good example. So where our five senses may be limited in how we sense, feel, and experience the changes that are going on around us, changes are happening. And if you're here, you know that. So again, the recent pandemic is a good example of how change has affected us both individually and collectively, making us feel negative at least some of the time. So the symptoms associated with change that I mentioned before: dizziness, headaches, excessive fatigue, difficulty focusing, anxiety, depression, sudden allergies, sudden changes in body weight, feeling stuck, overwhelmed, and there's many more. So if you felt any of these, can you drop a Y in the chat? Just let me know. Have you felt anything? I've had sensitivities to food all out of nowhere, all of a sudden, food that I've eaten my whole life. And so, Susan, just to answer your question, it's Tom Wild, Wild. Check him out. Yeah, sudden anaphylaxis definitely counts. Yep. Where you're suddenly allergic and you weren't before. So, I see Peg, you have a handout. If you could please hold that until. If you could please hold that until the end, I'll get to you, or you can post it in the chat and I'll get to it when I can. Okay, so if you were to put a Western medicine type label on these symptoms, I would call this collection of symptoms ascension syndrome. Just want to coin a term there. So at some level, we're all feeling and sensing and therefore living with these changes. So these changes are happening at all levels of your being. They're not necessarily bad things. Changes are necessary for us. We also call them catalysts. Hey, Carrie. Catalysts help us change. Unfortunately, unfortunately, they're not necessarily the most comfortable. They tend to be very uncomfortable. Hence, we notice them and we take them seriously. That's why they're very useful for helping us change. But embrace the changes. Enjoy this journey. I mean, this is an exciting time to be alive. So, to define the term catalyst, catalysts are changes that we feel, that we experience for our personal and collective change, our ascension, our movement into the next reality. So these changes require healing at many levels: physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, karmically, to name as many as I can think of right now. So we can help the earth, help humanity, and help ourselves by healing ourselves, by doing the work that we're going to start with tonight. And this is, I don't know if you've ever heard the term. This is kind of a jingle from a TV commercial, I think. Think globally, act locally. So this is think globally, act locally, put into action. So we can help the human race, the earth, the universe by healing ourselves. The fact that you are here at this webinar means that you do feel the change and you want to know more about what to do about it. So thank you again for joining us, and I hope this is helpful in that endeavor. So feeling stuck. Feeling stuck may be because you are trying to hang on to a place, a person, an experience, or a vibration that no longer serves you. Perhaps you're chasing answers to your questions and issues externally or outside yourself. Looking to others for advice can be helpful, but at the end of the day, we need to be able to look within ourselves for the answers that we need. So here's a good example. Have you noticed that some or many of your friends have dropped out of your lives for various reasons? I know I've had a bunch of changes in that regard. So another reason that you might feel stuck is that you feel or are disconnected from source, disconnected from yourself, perhaps due to technology use, excessive use of technology, social media, stress, fatigue, things that are kind of pushing you out of your comfort zone may make you feel disconnected. Catalysts, right? That's what we're talking about. So perhaps you have difficulty meditating as a result. So technology, stress, fatigue, and lack of meditation practice are some reasons why we are too much in our heads and not really connected. We're kind of stuck in our heads and disconnected from source, disconnected from answers that we're seeking. So separation from source or separation from self are illusions that our ego mind uses to control us. So we'll practice some techniques tonight to quiet the mind and prepare ourselves to go within, in just a minute. So another possibility why you feel stuck is you're resisting change. You're fighting it. Have you embraced the new vibration that you shifted into? So this means that you are currently in a new reality, a new situation, a new world, much different from those that you've experienced in the past. You've chosen this, but you may choose it and then decide to fight it. So before you can embrace the shift, or any shift that we've experienced a bunch recently, you need to know what you feel and how you feel right now. So it's important that you get in touch when you go within. You want to read your feelings. We're going to work on that right now. So this technique is a skill that requires practice to become good at it. It's like flexing a muscle, and the more you flex it, the stronger it gets, the easier it gets, the better it gets. So I encourage that you practice this stuff that I show you frequently. And just remember, like my friend and best-selling author Lois Herman said, practice makes permanent. That's just an awesome quote. I like to use it. So why don't we get into our daily self-care exercise? How's everyone doing so far? Good. Okay. So I appreciate you saving the questions till the end. So how many people have difficulty being present and feeling what they feel right now? I'm sure everybody has had difficulties with this in the past, maybe even currently. Being present is just another way of saying holding space. Being present is looking within and becoming an observer of what's going on, including what you feel within, but without any attachments. Being present also refers to the art of clearing the mind while being aware, yet not allowing anything to distract you. So it's kind of pushing the ego to the side. It's brushing aside, that's hard to say, brushing aside any thoughts that may creep in. It happens. You have 60,000 thoughts a day. It's easy. So just let me know how many people, drop a Y in the chat if you've had difficulty feeling feelings, being present, kind of going within, difficulty meditating. Who has trouble? Yeah, I see some hands. Yep, I see at times. Yes. Okay. So we all suffer from this one, and because of the intensity of the catalyst, the intensity of the changes that we're kind of undergoing right now, this may have gotten a little worse. Even though you're working on it, it may have gotten worse. I don't know if that makes sense. So we need to work on it. This is something that is absolutely critical. So let's begin. So we're going to do a little meditation exercise. It's being present and listening. It's called listening. You can sit or lie down for this experience. You can use music or no music as you see fit. Please stay muted during this experience. And again, we'll have opportunities for questions and comments after this exercise. I just want to make sure that we get plenty of time to do this and not run over time. I don't mind running over time if you don't, but I want to respect and honor everyone's time because lately time seems precious. So in preparation for this experience, let's make sure that you're activated, balanced, cleared, and protected first. Okay, so let me show you my ABC technique. I'm not sure if you saw this during the Self-Care for Healers Summit. If you have, great, you can follow along. If you haven't, this is something new, and this is a great daily technique. This is a prep technique for what we're going to do in just a minute. So I wanted to show you this to make sure that you're balanced and cleared and activated. So the first step is to visualize the Earth Star, or the chakra that's 1 to 2 feet below your feet. This is your connection to Mother Earth, Mother Gaia. And then visualize the Soul Star, which is chakra number 8. It's 1 to 2 feet above your head. And you're gonna ask Mother Gaia for assistance. Archangel Melchizedek is the Kohen, or the one in charge of the 8th chakra, the Soul Star. And you're gonna pick the energy from the Earth Star. You're gonna use your hands and grab it. Visualize grabbing it, pick it up, run it through all your chakras and connect it to the Soul Star above you. And then do the same thing. Take the Soul Star energy, run it down through your chakras and connect it to the Earth Star. So this technique is kind of reminiscent of Jikiden, or traditional Japanese Reiki, where they don't believe in chakras, they just believe in 3 energy centers. They might call them something different. So the intention here is to connect Earth Star to Soul Star, Soul Star to Earth Star. And in the process of doing that, you activate your Heart Star, which is absolutely critical. So let's do that. So we're going to go up and breathe in, down, breathe out, up, breathe in, down, breathe out. We're going to do that 8 times to connect and activate Earth Star, Soul Star, and Heart Star. Ready? Here we go. So breathe in, breathe out. 2, breathe in, breathe out. 4, breathe in, breathe out. 6, breathe in, breathe out. 8. So we've connected, excellent. So we've connected Earth Star to Soul Star, activated the Heart Star. So now we're ready for some protection. I call this the ABC technique, but I didn't know where to put the P in that. So I call it ABC. This is the protection step. You always want to protect yourself before you do any work. So we're going to envision creating a golden sphere. Some people call it a Merkaba, around our bodies, around our auras to create protection. So it's just basically a golden sphere around the body. And you're going to take that Soul Star energy, run it down your back, underneath you, around in front of you, and then reconnect it to the Soul Star. You're going to do that 8 times. So you're going to breathe in, and then when you reconnect, you breathe out. So you breathe in, run it around you, create the golden sphere, the Merkaba, and breathe out. So breathe in, breathe out. That's 1. Breathe in, reconnect, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Remember, you're going down the back, underneath you, up in front, and reconnect. So breathe in, breathe out. 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 So that's an activating and a protecting step, because it's a lot more breathing in than it is breathing out. So the last piece of this technique is clearing, and you're gonna basically clear all your chakras, including your Earth Star, Heart Star, and Soul Star. So you're gonna have one hand on top that's facing down, another hand on the bottom that's facing up, and you're gonna clear and balance all of your chakras all at the same time by breathing in, going up, and then turn the hands over, breathe out, Going to do that 6 more times. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, hopefully I can count to 8. So it's really hard to count, move, think, and instruct all at the same time. In fact, I had one of my speakers on the summit say that's impossible. I think that was Deb Knight that said that. So, so I hope you like that one. How are we all feeling? Okay. Good. I'd also like to balance side to side. And I see we got a few more people come in. As you come in, if you could please mute. So yeah, excellent. So welcome, Leslie, and we have a few people joining us late. That's okay. So we're in the process of activating, balancing, and clearing and protecting. This next technique is from Donna Eden. This is how you balance side to side. And so we can do this in sitting, since most of us are sitting. It's like a march in sitting. You're going to take your left hand and touch the top of your right knee, and it's kind of an exaggerated march. So this hand's going to come down, right hand comes down, touches the left knee is lifting up towards the ceiling. You can't see it because I'm sitting. So we're going to do that back and forth, left hand to right knee, lifting the right knee up to the ceiling, right hand to left knee, left hand to right knee, right hand to left knee. We're going to do that a few more times. So breathe in as you do one side, breathe out, breathe in as you do the other side, breathe out. So breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, so let's move on. We're starting to run a little late, but I hope you enjoy those techniques. And so we'll go right into the meditation. So I'd like you to close your eyes, take a few deep cleansing breaths. You should feel very, maybe perhaps a little buzzy, but definitely protected. We'll do a little more protection as we go along. So take a few deep cleansing breaths. A cleansing breath is you breathe in 1, 2, and then breathe out 1, 2, 3, 4. So an activating breath is when you breathe in more. A cleansing breath is when you breathe out more. That's getting rid of the junk. And just visualize, feel, know, experience that as you breathe in, you're breathing in all of the love and positivity of the universe. And as you breathe out all the negativity and self-doubt that you may be carrying. So breathe in, 1, 2, breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. How about a few more of those on your own? So a few deep cleansing breaths. And if you have any stretch out or wiggle out any tension you may have in the body, to make yourself fully relaxed, keeping the eyes closed, playing music if you like, staying muted for the rest of the group's benefit. And at this time, visualize an additional bubble of love, gratitude, and protection around yourself. So you already have the 8-layered Merkaba, this golden sphere. Now you're creating a bubble of pink love, gratitude, and protection around yourself. And this will enhance our intuitive skills, our meditative skills, self-transmute any issues that may be released. You're not going to transmit any of these issues to anyone else. So now we're ready to go. So I'd like you to breathe a little deeper and a little slower than you normally would. By slowing the breath down, you can put yourself into a meditative state. Keeping the eyes closed, feeling totally relaxed. You consider lie down for this, keeping questions till the end. Thank you. Now that you have command of your breath, you can operate in a meditative state. So we're going to work on silencing the mind. There is power in the silence. It is in the silence that you can connect to your ancestors, your guides, your ministering angels, and receive the messages that you've been waiting for. This may be difficult for some, and it does take practice and guidance. Set the intention that your mind is quiet and that you are in touch with your inner feelings right now. Do that in a way that's right and perfect for you. In the silence, you can hear your body speak to you. Focus on your gut. Bring your awareness down into your belly. Your gut is considered your second brain. And there are as many nerves in the gut as there are in the brain of your dog. Listen to your gut. Trust your gut. It is in your gut where emotions and feelings are generated. The brain may perceive, interpret, ignore, and distort these messages from the gut as the ego sees fit. So push any thoughts that you may have aside. We're focusing right now on what emotions or feelings do you sense when you focus on your gut. Just check in with your gut right now and sit with it for a minute. So what do you sense? Remember, we're focusing on feelings, not thoughts. Thoughts are in the mind. Brush aside any thoughts and don't give them any energy. Focus on feelings. There's a good chance that as you're focusing on the silence and trying to sense feelings that you feel nothing. That's still excellent. There's power in the silence. Other people may feel lots of different feelings all at once. Can you block out the feelings that you don't want and focus on the ones that you want? Or why not program in a feeling that you'd like to feel? Why not focus on love or gratitude? So if you're having trouble feeling love, visualize your favorite pet or favorite person. And how do they make you feel? So for example, if you have a dog, your dog is a being filled with unconditional love. Visualize your favorite pet, your perhaps your dog. What does unconditional love truly feel like? If you're having trouble visualizing your favorite pet or favorite person, maybe go back to a particular time or place or a particular person situation when you felt amazing. How about Christmas morning when you're 5 years old and you're just about to open all your presents? How does that feel? So bask in the positive feelings and emotions of your choice. This is a skill. It may be difficult to sustain this feeling, but try. And I'd like to offer you an automatic reconnection technique. And I'd like you to take your thumb and your index finger and hold them together. This is called a mudra, a hand position that accentuates meditation. Bring your thumb to your index finger on one or both hands and program this feeling into that mudra so that you can reconnect with it anytime you choose. Set that intention. Whenever you bring your thumb to your index finger, you feel these awesome unconditional love feelings that you're producing right now. Doesn't that feel amazing? So when you feel ready, you can bring your awareness back to your eyes and open your eyes in return. Okay, so I got 7:40. Feel free to stay on as long as you'd like. I hope everyone enjoyed that. Um, I know it's kind of a bummer to have to come back, but we do at some point. So if you feel ready, please write down your experiences in your notebook if you have one available. So whatever you felt, experienced, to ground it, make it permanent, memorable, write it down. Okay, so getting some feedback in the chat. Appreciate you sharing. Any questions or comments, please feel free to write them down in the chat. Yeah, so other people have mentioned difficulty meditating. I have one more technique when you feel ready, because I want to respect everyone's time. And if you're still journaling, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it is running a little bit late. But I do have one more technique. If you feel if you're having difficulty focusing, and if you feel like you can't sit, you get squirmy, and you have difficulty sitting to meditate. Some people like moving meditations. I love moving meditations. And moving meditation was the one we just did with, it's called the cross crawl. And we did the seated version of it where you bring one knee up and the opposite hand comes over and down and you breathe in, breathe out. That's a moving meditation. I love that. I have another one from Donna Eden. It's called the zip up technique. And if you're having trouble meditating, it's likely that your triple warmer meridian is overactive. Your sympathetic dominant, you're very stressed out, your adrenal glands are pumping out a lot of cortisol, and you're focusing on negative. So one technique that really helps with that is the zip up technique. It's not in her book. Her book is called Energy Medicine. It's phenomenal, especially if you're into self-care. The zip up technique is basically you're going to zipper yourself up like you would if you actually had a zipper on you. And you start down at the root chakra, down in the groin, and zipper yourself up, bring it over the throat, under the chin, and stop at the chin, because that's where the triple warmer meridian stops. You don't need to do that multiple times. Just intend that you're zippering up your energy. You're kind of closing it off, and you're getting rid of the crazies. You're getting rid of the difficulty focusing. So again, you zipper up the chakras, just straight up the body in front of you. So the reason why the Merkaba, that second step of my self-care technique, goes backwards behind the back is because you want to go up in the front. If you go down in the front, potentially you're unzipping yourself and you're opening yourself up to for disarray, for lack of focus. Your energy becomes unorganized potentially. So that's the zip up technique. I hope you enjoy that one. So any questions? I see one. I have one question here from Claire. Why do multiple times a day do I feel out of being connected to source? You feel out of sorts? Yeah. It might be that you're unzipped. At times I feel so happy and connected to source. Other times I feel sad or mad. So here's another way of thinking of it. Your feelings. That's an excellent question, by the way. Your feelings, your emotions are a receipt for what you're thinking about. So if you're thinking about negative things, you will feel negative. You're setting an intention by thinking. So can you redirect? Can you take your mind off of whatever negative is, the negative thing that you're focusing on, and redirect it? You may also want to do these self-care techniques so that the issue isn't energetic. But if you're feeling physically out of sorts, consider that, maybe there's a mental component, there's an emotional component. So you're thinking about, you're listening to the news, you're getting bummed out, and then you start to feel bad. Then your energy is gonna become erratic. So you want to zipper yourself up, do the self-care techniques that we did previously, and then go back to this meditation that we did and focus on something positive. Go into that hand mudra, automatically reconnect to that awesome feeling that you created, and voila, whatever disarray you feel, whatever negativity you feel, can't prevail. I hope that's helpful. Awesome question. Thanks, Claire. So Katie, love the clearing and balancing techniques. Forgot about them. Yeah, they're always good to review. Some of these you might already know. Kathy said that was awesome, deeply peaceful, excellent. We also have trouble knowing exactly how I feel. So remember, the gut is where you create these feelings. The brain interprets them, so the ego can distort them. That's a problem. You don't want that to happen. But if your circuit's off, remember we're a complete circuit. You may want to try this. And I don't want to throw too many techniques at you, but hey, bonus content's always great. I love it. You want to take your right hand and put your right hand over your belly button, your navel, as you're sitting and trying to meditate, and then your left hand will go over your heart star, after you've activated it with the method that I showed you earlier. So this will now complete the circuit. If your circuit's off, this hand position, this is, I guess you could call this a mudra, because you are positioning your hands to accentuate a meditation. This by itself may help you feel better, but if not, while you're in this hand position, you can also sneak in that additional mudra, that one that I talked about, and go back and do that meditation. So as energetic beings, we are a complete circuit. Our energy runs down the outside and up the inside. So if there's an imbalance side to side, you get the cross crawl that I showed you from Donna Eden. If you feel erratic, you have the zip up technique. And now you have this complete the circuit technique. They use this in Jiki-Den Reiki. A lot of Reiki people, a lot of people that meditate use it. It is an awesome technique. And then while you have your hands in that position, you can kind of sneak in that additional hand mudra. You can do 2 mudras at a time. It's okay. You're allowed. So I hope this is helpful. So let's see. So I love the feedback. Any other questions? So we can call it a night. At this point, I'll stop the recording.